My name is Malcolm. I'm a father of two, a husband, and until last year, I lived with my family in a small townhouse in the quiet suburbs of Elm Grove, Virginia. We moved there for peace, a good school for my kids, a backyard for Sunday grilling, a neighborhood where we could feel like we belonged. That's what we thought we were buying into. But this story, this warning wrapped in memory, isn't about the house. It's about the man who owned it, the landlord, the one who smiled in our face and held hate behind his handshake. His name was Gerald Whitmore. To the neighbors, he was just Mr. Whitmore, a retired insurance agent. Friendly, if a little old-fashioned. Tall, gray-haired, always in a pressed polo shirt and slacks. He kept to himself mostly, but when we first moved in, he seemed curious. The kind of curious that doesn't ask questions but watches from across the street. I remember the day we signed the lease. Gerald handed me the keys with a tight smile. "You're the first family of your kind in this block," he said. I raised an eyebrow. "Our kind?" He chuckled. "You know, young, family-oriented, hard-working. That's what I meant." Didn't believe him then, and I don't believe him now. At first, things were fine. We kept the place clean, paid rent early. My wife, Tanya, even brought him homemade banana bread one Thanksgiving. He took it without looking her in the eye, but then little things started happening. The lawn sprinklers stopped working. I asked Gerald if he could get someone to fix them. They were included in the lease. "Must have been the way you people mow the lawn," he said with a shrug. I let it go. I always tried to let it go. Then, in winter, the heat went out. It was 30 degrees outside. My kids were bundled up in their coats in bed. "Not my problem," Gerald said on the phone. "Maybe if y'all didn't mess with the thermostat." Still, I didn't fight back. I documented everything. I had hope. I believed things would settle down, that people like him could change if you just showed them enough kindness. But it wasn't about kindness. It was about control. One day, I came home from work and saw a notice taped to our door. Eviction. 30 days. No explanation. No missed payments. Just landlord discretion. Tanya cried that night. Our kids didn't understand. My son asked if we did something bad. "No," I told him. "Sometimes people just don't see us as people." I tried calling Gerald. He wouldn't pick up. When I finally cornered him in person, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "You don't fit here." We packed our things, moved in with my brother across town. I never wanted to look back. But life, it has a funny way of spinning the wheel. 3 months later, I got a call from a former neighbor. Gerald's house had caught fire. Not ours, his own. An electrical issue, they said. No injuries, but the damage was extensive. And here's where it gets strange. Apparently, the fire spread from a fuse box that had been flagged by a black electrician. Gerald had fired a year earlier. Fired because he talked back when Gerald said, "You people charge too much." Karma had been slow, but it had a good memory. Then came the lawsuits. Turns out Gerald had been neglecting maintenance on several of his properties. Tenants began coming forward, mostly people of color. Complaints stacked up. A local journalist picked up the story, a piece titled, "The Man Behind the Lease." I read it twice, once with anger, once with relief. The town started seeing him for who he really was. Not a grumpy old man, but a man who weaponized his power quietly, legally. A man who thought a smile could hide his prejudice. Eventually, Gerald lost his rental license. The city revoked it after tenants testified. I watched the footage of the hearing online. When asked why he evicted us, he said, "They just weren't the right fit." The board asked, what made them not the right fit? He stumbled, mumbled, then stayed silent. You see, some people wear their hate like a mask, but time has a way of peeling it off, layer by layer. A year later, we moved into our own home, bought, not rented, in a better neighborhood, owned by us. My daughter asked one day, "Daddy, why don't we live in the old house anymore?" I smiled. Because now we live in a place where we belong, not where we're just allowed. If you're watching this, hear me clearly. Racism doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through paperwork, through zoning, through quiet conversations, behind closed doors. It lives in policies, in polite smiles, in phrases like, the right fit. But silence isn't safety. And comfort isn't justice. Gerald thought he could outlast accountability. But eventually truth caught up. So to anyone facing quiet hate, remember, your voice matters. Your presence matters. And karma? Karma doesn't need help. Just time. Thank you for listening to my story. And if it struck a chord with you, share it. Let people know the fight isn't always loud, but it's always worth it, because dignity isn't something we ask for. It's something we own, and no one, not even a landlord with a smile full of judgment, can take that from you.